focus. I'm confident. Have all my tools. And I know that I'm capable. Stay on the trail, okay? Just relax. Settle down. Just relax. Just remember to tell the mass. Did I bring information? Okay, sure. Good. Okay, here we go. Hey, oh, yeah, go ahead. No, it's fine. It's just usually when I greet people for the first time, I stand up just to, give a handshake or something. It's cool. I think it's just a tradition that I learned from my parents growing up, so yeah. No, so it's totally fine. I'm not offended at all. No. So, are you feeling better? About 95%. Yeah, me too, actually. And it's like every time the weather changes during this time of the year, I always get sick, right? Yeah. Well, for me, usually the way it goes, and it happened this way this year, I woke up it was just like a week and a half ago, and I had the most sore throat. And I knew it, that just a couple of days would pass before it would really kick in. And so what I should have done, I should have been on my organic and natural regimen earlier, but I waited too long. So by the time the sore throat came, there wasn't really much I could do because I know I had already got the start of it, Exactly, yeah. It's like you gotta kind of prepare for that leading up to the point. But anyway, so I had a very sore throat. And then 2-3 days later, it really kicked in. Sore throat, sneezing, feeling a little fatigued, but not too much. But coughing. Oh my gosh. The coughing and the mucus. I'm sorry to be kind of nasty, but all of those things, and that's one reason why I had to cancel our appointment initially, because I kind of lost my voice, and plus I didn't want to spread germs or anything. So no, I'm not gonna spread germs. No, you don't spread germs to me either. Well, I feel I'm about 99% recovered, so I'm pretty much there. Yeah. Well, between your 95%, you said? Okay, so between your 95% and my 99%, I think we'll be good. Yeah. Right. Alright, so I'm kind of laughing to myself because I brought what you asked, and I'm a little bit perplexed why you wanted to have this. And, I almost ordered it online, at Amazon, but I was checking around with a couple of friends, and they had this book, because apparently this has been around for a long time. Yeah. So I know some of the questions might be antiquated, possibly, I don't know, but I'm kind of outdated, But now, since we're here, I have to ask, why did you want me to bring this? Yeah. Okay, yeah. I'm totally down for that. And ironically, every time I have a session with a new client, I do some type of icebreaker. So that's a normal thing. But this is a different type of icebreaker. No, I don't mind at all. I didn't look at it. I didn't peek through the questions. But does this go real deep? Okay. That's cool. I feel I am transparent and I'm open. So, we can go through a couple. I'll answer them honestly, give you an idea of my personality, and then we'll go to the next step and kind of shift the tables in a sense, or shift the table. However it goes, we'll be focusing on you. All right. So, what do you want? Do you just want me to just? Oh, okay. All right. My eyes are closed. 3 times. So, do I do it on the 3rd time, or 3 and then pick? Okay. So it's on the 3rd time. I got you. And then the left side or the right side, and my left. See, look, already, this should give you an idea of my personality already. All these questions. My left or my right, or your left or your right? Okay, so 3 times my left for the first question. Okay, all right. Let's here we go. That's 1. Oh. Hold on. Okay. That's 2. So here's the 3rd. Oh, we'll stop there. And my left. Okay. So I'm gonna open my eyes. I'm gonna read the question, and then I'm gonna answer it. All right, here we go. Okay. Oh, this is interesting. All right, you ready? Okay. An eccentric millionaire offers to donate a large sum to charity if you will step completely naked from a car onto a busy downtown street, walk 4 blocks, and climb back into the car, knowing that there would be no danger of physical abuse. Would you do it? Okay, this is very interesting. First of all, yes, I would do it. Okay, here's the thing. It's a great cause, and so that would inspire me to do it. The only thing is that in this day and age, and some chapstick, I'm obsessed with chapstick. This day and age, like, it did say, hold on, let me go back. It does say there would be no danger of physical abuse. Okay, so that's fine. Yeah, I do it, and the reason being is because it's a great cause, Hold on. Sorry. It's a great cause, and so I like that. And it's for a great cause, so I like that. And I'm very comfortable with my body. I'm not saying that I walk around naked, clearly. Well, in my own place I do, but that's just my place. But I'm comfortable with my body, so I wouldn't be ashamed. It's a great cause. It's for a great cause. No physical abuse, so that's good. Now, the only thing I'd be concerned about is walking barefoot. If they could just give me a pair of flip-flops, that would be better. Because, I don't want to step on anything, and it's depending on where it's at, it could be real dirty, you know what I mean? But yeah, a large sum to charity. I would like to choose the charity if that's okay. But all that to say, yes, I would do it. Yes, it does have an asterisk. A follow-up question. Okay. Let me see. In the back. Okay, here we go. It's just interesting. Okay, so I'll just read this. In terms of their relative unpleasantness, how would you rank the following? A nude stroll in public, being spat upon by a crowd of people, being arrested for shoplifting, begging for money at an airport. What is the most embarrassing thing you can imagine? What bothers you about looking bad in front of strangers? Okay, now this follow-up question gets kind of deep. This is a lot, and I know we don't have a lot of time, so I'll just kind of pick a couple of things and then we'll move on, if that's cool with you. Okay. And I do want to answer because, this will let you know more about my personality. But first of all, to me, a nude stroll in public is not unpleasant, but I think it's against the law, isn't it? Yeah, I think it's against the law, so I just don't want to break the law. But in terms of nudity and nakedness, I think it's beautiful. I don't think it's unpleasant. And I say that regardless of body types, And I know some people would say, oh, you're lying. No, I think that everyone has beauty. Now, whether we all see that, that's different. And we're so conditioned to say this standard is beautiful and this standard is not. But anyhow, so that is not unpleasant. Just maybe, again, illegal in some places. Now, being spat upon by a crowd of people, now that is unpleasant, and that would be low on the list. I think to spit on someone is extremely grotesque. Now, spit in and of itself doesn't necessarily have to be grotesque, especially when kissing someone, and that can be quite pleasant. And there's an exchange of spit, but usually when someone spits on somebody else, it's accompanied by anger and all these emotions that are intended to be offensive and to be disruptive. And that intent combined with the fact that you're spitting on me and I don't want you to, that is unpleasant. Definitely. Yeah. All right. Being arrested for shoplifting, that's unpleasant. Definitely. That'd be near the bottom. Begging for money at an airport. Listen, if I need the money, it could be an emergency. Just never know. What is the most embarrassing thing you can imagine? Okay, as I've matured, I don't get embarrassed too easily. But one embarrassing thing to me is assuming there's no great physical harm from this, but falling in public, down some steps, that is embarrassing to me. What bothers you about looking bad in front of strangers? I think we're going to take this question and lead into what we're discussing today with your anxiety. Okay? What bothers me about looking bad in front of strangers? Well, that's the thing. It doesn't bother me like it used to, but the idea of feeling ridiculed, the perception of feeling less than or awkward, marginalized, those things used to bother me a lot. So I can see how that would be an issue to some degree. Yeah. Exactly. So, now, this was interesting. We'll have to do some more of this in another session. But now we're going to take that and actually lead into the topic that we're going to discuss concerning performance anxiety and how that relates to how we are perceived in front of others. Okay? You ready? All right, awesome. So the first thing I want to do, though, is share with you my personal story, share with you my story about anxiety, and then we'll get into the textbook. Did you bring your textbook today? Okay, good. I'll go ahead and get my book out now. Oh, this is wrong. Okay, so I will attempt not to be too long-winded as I share with you a little bit of my story with anxiety, and hopefully by doing this you'll be able to relate to some of the aspects, and then we'll move forward with what's in the textbook. Okay? Alright, so let me do this in a way where I'm not incredibly long-winded. Basically, as a child, I was very energetic. And I was, let's say, dramatic. I had a lot of personality. Let me be more descriptive. Energetic, flamboyant, I'd say that. I was active and just high energy, as many children are. However, my mannerisms, my forward or outgoing personality, the high energy, the flamboyantness, is that a word? Flamboyantness? I don't know. All of those things brought a lot of attention to me. And in some ways, it was good attention because people knew me, you know. And when I say a child, I'm talking about like elementary school, middle school. Around those years, the formative years, yeah. But a lot of the attention was also ridicule. And I was teased a lot by friends, you know, family members, even strangers. And sometimes this ridicule that I felt, it wasn't always expressed to me verbally. Many times it was. But many times it was the body language that I observed. You know, I could read people's body language and their facial expressions, or even in the tone of their voice. I could hear the displeasure with their perception of my personality, of my character, even at a young age. And I believe that those moments started my social anxiety. And that anxiety, it spilled over into other areas of my life, including my performing as a musician, as an athlete. It just infiltrated every aspect of my being, unfortunately. Anything where I needed to perform, or I was going to be assessed by someone else or a group of people, it became incredibly difficult. And also just socially, being around people and starting to learn how to hide myself, how to withdraw emotionally in fear that someone would call me out for my personality. I started to shrink myself in the presence of others. And that started to build over the years. And for a very long time, I struggled. Not all the time, sometimes were great, but for a very long time, I struggled with performing when I knew that potentially the eyes and the ears that were focused on me were negatively judging me. And some of them may not have been. But that's the thing with anxiety. It's not intellectualized. Not all the time, at least. It felt like an emotional battle that was just so easily triggered. And once it started, so often I lost that battle. So, but I can say now today that I have grown to conquer much of the anxiety, particularly performance anxiety. And anytime it makes itself known, I'm able to work through it and not hide in the moment, not shrink from the moment, but I stay present and I win, you know? And so we're going to talk about that. And just one more thing, yeah, I wouldn't say that I never get anxious anymore. And to be honest, that's not the goal. At least, well, if that were to happen, if that were to happen for you, that would be awesome. And I would support you in that plight. But what I've learned is that even if anxiety remains to some extent, I need to stay in control. And I will not allow it to decrease my presence, nor will I allow it hinder my performances. And that is where I want to get you. And that is where I believe we can achieve great things. What do you think? You excited? Good. I'm excited for you too. Now, it is a process, but trust that I have your best interest, and I'm going to do whatever it takes. Well, legally. I'll explain that later. But I'm going to do whatever it takes to help you get further along in this journey. You're not alone. Millions of people deal with some form of anxiety. And I know with performance anxiety, that's your livelihood. And I'm going to help you to still win. All right. So there's so much more to my story, but that's enough for now. So let's go ahead and jump in the textbook, because there's one aspect that I want to go over for today, and then we'll pick up for the next session. Okay? All right, cool. Okay, so open your textbook, and I want you to turn to page, let's see, where is it? Turn to page 73, yeah, turn to page 73. Yeah, I have so many markers in here. You would think I'd have that page marked already. I think I do. Yep, there it is. Perfectionism. You got it? Good. So as you can see on page 73, down at the bottom, the topic I want to review with you now is perfectionism. Okay. Now, there are a couple points that I want to highlight. So turn to page 74, and I want to read something to you. Go down. Where is it? Okay, down to like the middle part of the page where it starts with intuitively. You see that? Got it? Okay. So it says intuitively, performance in areas of endeavor requiring perfection should be enhanced and perfectionist. One would expect perfectionism to be adaptive or facilitative of high performance quality. However, the trait of perfectionism has a somewhat paradoxical effect, with research showing, and listen to this, with research showing that individuals who are high in perfectionism and who tend to be cognitively preoccupied with attaining perfection in their performances may be more vulnerable to impaired performance, having difficulty concentrating on their performance and experience higher dissatisfaction with their performances. That was a mouthful. But were you following along? Did you get it? Okay. So a couple of the key words in here. Vulnerability, which in and of itself is a great thing, but not in this context. Oops. Impaired performance. Where is it? Difficulty concentrating. And where is it? Oh, yeah. Higher dissatisfaction. Now, there's one more part I want to read to you. Listen to this. Keep scroll down. Here it is. Actually, where we left off. Okay, you got it? Okay. Perfectionists expend a great deal of energy on the process of evaluation, develop rigid ideas regarding what constitutes success and failure, and perceive success as all or nothing. And here's the last thing I want to discuss. Perfectionists tend to equate a perfect performance with self-worth and an impaired performance with worthlessness. Did you get that? Let's read it again. Perfectionists tend to equate a perfect performance with self-worth and an impaired performance with worthlessness. Oh my goodness. Listen. Let me just write this part. Perfect performance with that's my phone, sorry. Self-worth. And then performance with worthlessness. Okay, I can close this book now, and you can close yours too, because here's the last thing I want to discuss. This is where we're going to start with your training, with your therapy sessions, however you want to phrase it. Okay, we don't have to use therapy. We can use another word. Yeah. Okay. I understand that you want to be your best as a performer. I, too, have that same goal. And I would say that most performers want to be their best when they're on stage or when they are wherever they are entertaining an audience. However, if we attach our craft to our self-worth, that is dangerous. Because as it says in the book, and it talks about it more, but I'm just going to recite it to you. Your life will be like a seesaw. With great performances, you'll feel worthy of the applause. You'll feel worthy of the attention. You'll feel worthy of existence. But then with an impaired performance, you'll feel worthless. You'll feel that you're not worthy to exist, that you don't matter. And that is not true. Our crafts, our talents, our gifts, if you can say, our abilities, they are an extension of our being, of our thoughts, of our essence, of our goals, of our fears, of our hopes, of our dreams. That is true. But it's not the totality of who we are. You are more than just someone who is a musician. There are other qualities about your existence that are worthy of attention and worthy to be nourished. And when one aspect of you, being your music, when in those times that it doesn't go well, you can learn from that. You can grow from that. But you don't have to allow that to convince you that suddenly you're worthless. That's not true. You are not one-dimensional. You are a complex human being with many facets that make you special, that make you worthy, and that make you unique. So for your homework, what I want you to focus on is to get a piece of paper, get a pen or marker or pencil, whatever, and I want you to write down those things and qualities that comprise your personality and your being. But you have to leave music off the list. We already know that. We already know that music is an integral part of who you are. But it's not all that you are. I want a list of other things. And there's no special number. Whatever you come up with is whatever you come up with. But what we're going to do with that list is nourish and examine those things. And we're going to make sure that you're living in balance. Okay? This will not reduce the importance or the necessity of your music. It will not do that. So no fear about that. But what this will do is remind you that there is so much greatness about you and in you that deserves attention as well. And while all of these things don't have to have equal importance, they are important. And you're going to need to be able to tap into that realization in the times when your music is challenging and when you're dealing with obstacles. And even when you're doing great with your music, because you still want to stay in balance and know that there is more to you than what you do on the stage. Is this making sense? Good. You feel inspired? Yes. Good. Good. And trust me, this is something that I have dealt with and I still continue to work through, but it will empower you. And you'll start to appreciate life so much more because you know that with or without music, but of course with all these other things, there's so much to enjoy about what you have to offer. You have many things that you can offer to yourself and to others that you encounter. And even with those things, sometimes it'll go good, sometimes it won't. But if we can take out that delusion or illusion of perfectionism and instead work off the motivation of doing it for the love. And yes, to be your best, but to know that your best does not have to equate to being perfect. Your best can equate to being authentic, to being sincere, to being empathetic, to being selfless. That's the true gold. That's the true beauty. Perfectionism can take all of that away, and that stops now. We're going to work towards that. All right. You pumped up? I'm kind of pumped up too, actually. But good. So I don't want to give you too much on this first session. So take that with you, those notes. I saw you were writing your notes. Take that with you. Read that entire chapter. And our next session will expound on it. And let's do this. Let's win. Let's grow. Let's evolve. And let's conquer this anxiety. Because there is so much more life to live. Not always good. There will be challenges. But you can win through those challenges. And I am here to help you. Okay? All right. Any questions about any of that? Good. Yeah. Awesome. All right. So I had to go as well because I have another appointment. But it was a pleasure to meet you. And I will email you about the next session. We'll set it up and let's go for it. All right, cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and pack up and head on out, and I'll see you next time. All right. See ya. I did it. This is gonna be good. It's gonna be good.